What's good, everybody on YouTube? It's Akil back with another live video. And today I am live from Charlotte, North Carolina. So it's definitely just really good to be out here, just, traveling just a little bit. But as you guys know, I just enjoy getting some work done. So I had to hop on live and share some of these stories that I came across just recently. Just last night, I stumbled across some of these stories. So I figured it would be really good to, kind of share some of this information out there with you guys, especially since we're all, predominantly resellers, entrepreneurs, whatever you guys want to call it. So I'll just give it a few more minutes and let some people hop into the chat here. I usually don't do these live shows on Sundays. I usually reserve my reseller live shows to every Thursday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. But I just decided to hop on live here really quickly since I was traveling and wasn't able to do my live shows at the regular scheduled time. So I grabbed up a couple interesting articles that I think would kind of benefit some of you guys out there as well. And it also corresponds to some of the information that I was sharing earlier this week. I had dropped 2 videos earlier this week discussing my experiences with eBay. And it definitely correlates with these articles as well. So I figured it would be really good to kind of do another deep dive into some of this content here. Like I said, I'll give it a couple more minutes. I'll wait until some more people join the live stream. I know people aren't necessarily used to me doing these live shows on the weekend. I know a lot of us are probably outsourcing right now. I dropped a video yesterday where I was in some of these thrift stores out here in Charlotte, and a lot of people were telling me, to make sure you head out to Concord Mills outlet, and they told me about the Goodwill outlet as well, and just sharing some really good tips. So I'm definitely going to try to grab some footage while I'm out there as well. Just, just trying to see what the area is like, because anytime I go on vacation or anytime I'm out of town, I'm one of those people that just likes to hit up a couple thrift stores, hit up the outlet just to kind of see, what the area has to offer. So shout out to everybody that's in the building. We got a couple people in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump straight into it. So I was so just in case you guys didn't catch my previous videos where I spoke about it earlier this week, I had 2 very interesting situations that happened with my eBay returns. Now, during this time of the year, the first couple weeks of January, most of us are going to start experiencing some form of returns, right? Because people have purchased gifts for themselves, people have purchased gifts for, friends and family, and these items either didn't fit, people aren't happy with it for whatever reason, people are going to start returning stuff. So I started getting a couple returns, and 2 of the returns that I got, they were previously worn. And if you guys sell on eBay, eBay has this option as to where if you receive an item back where the item was worn or it's damaged or it was missing something, missing some type of component from the original packaging, you can give them a deduction. You don't have to give them a full return. So I've been utilizing that fairly often because I've just realized that people have been doing that to me. You know what I mean? I sell a lot of shoes, so people would, sometimes wear the shoes, go on a date, go to the club, do whatever they want to do, and then try to return the shoes. And I would usually just give them a 50% deduction. What's going on, y'all? I see y'all in the chat. What's going on, my people? So yeah, so I would experience that fairly often. It happened to me maybe, almost 8 to 10 times within the last, few months. Those types of situations has happened to me. So when it came down to that, I would just give them a 50% deduction and everything would be cool. I never received any negative feedback or anything like that. So recently what happened, these two situations happened where I, offered the 50% deduction, but it usually takes a while until the process is cleared. Sometimes, 4 to 5 business days before the transaction is cleared. So it will still show up in my return, like in my account, it'll show that I still have a pending return. So the day that the return closed, I actually made a video and I just wanted to share and just document some of that journey. But then later on that day, I guess the buyer opened up a case with eBay saying that they, were unhappy for whatever reason. They wanted the full return, and eBay actually gave them the money back. So I gave them 50% of the money, and then eBay gave them the other 50%. So it's basically like they got, a full return, and they didn't penalize me. So that was good. But they, basically tried whatever they did, whatever they could do to keep the buyer happy. So that was something interesting. At first, I was a little annoyed about the situation, but at the same time, it is what it is. I understood what eBay was doing because eBay is a really big corporation. They're trying to keep buyers on their platform, and it's a known fact that if say I'm a first time eBay shopper and I have a bad experience on eBay, chances of me coming back to eBay is very, very slim. So I know that's what eBay was trying to do. So like I said, I wasn't upset about that. But now I'm realizing I seen an article here. I'll share that article with you guys in a second. I'll read a couple snippets from it. Basically, eBay, Walmart, Amazon, Target, and possibly some other of these really big retailers are doing the same thing, where it's not even well, they're not even they're not dealing with the 50% off deduction. But what they're doing is, if somebody wants to make a return, depending on the size of the item, depending on what the item is, they're just telling the people to keep it. They instead of going through the hassle, they're just saying go ahead and keep it. So let me just jump into this article here and read a little snippet of it for you guys, because it's from the Wall Street Journal. I'm not a subscriber of the Wall Street Journal, so I'm gonna just read the article here really quickly for you guys. And I can't even read the whole thing because, like I said, I'm not a subscriber of the Wall Street Journal. So it says, retailers have a new message for consumers looking to return an item. Keep it. Amazon.com Incorporated, Walmart Incorporated, and other companies are using artificial intelligence to decide whether it makes economic sense to process a return. For inexpensive items or large ones that would incur hefty shipping fees, it is often cheaper to refund the purchase price and let customers keep the products. Now, I'm one of those people. I've done that a couple times in the past, right? I've had experiences with sellers where they wanted to return an item for whatever reason. Maybe it was a shirt that didn't fit. Maybe it was an electronic item that, once it got to the buyer, for whatever reason, it wasn't working. They couldn't figure something out. Like, especially with like some of these handheld phones, these landline phones that I sell. I test them when I'm in the house, and sometimes when I ship it out, for whatever reason, it's lithium batteries. So who knows if the batteries, are damaged in the mail or whatever the case is. So sometimes, depending on what the item is, I'll tell the buyer, you know what, just here's the refund. No need to ship it back to me, especially if I have to pay for the return shipping and the item was a $10 item. It's no need for me to go back and forth with them, dealing with the return for just, $5. So for me, I've done that in the past as well. So let me just continue reading this article here. So it says, the relatively new approach popularized by Amazon and a few other chains is being adopted more broadly during the COVID-19 pandemic, as a surge in online shopping forces companies to rethink how they handle returns. We are getting so many inquiries about this that you will see it take off in coming months, said Chief Executive Officer of Navar Incorporated, which processes returns for retailers. Let's see. Lori Anderson of Vancouver, Washington, was pleasantly surprised when she tried to return online purchases of makeup at Target and batteries from Walmart, and the chains issued her a refund, but told her to keep the items. And I could see just a little piece of the blurred section here where they say they were inexpensive and it wouldn't make much financial sense to return them by mail. So like I said, I've definitely experienced something like that in the past where, it just didn't make sense for me to tell the person to return it, because it would basically be for like $5 or $6, and I just didn't want to bother with the hassle. Now, another situation that I've done in the past as well, I tend to sell a lot of shoes, right? So I'll buy shoes. I'll go to the outlet and I might buy one particular shoe, but I'll get a full size run of those shoes. And one particular situation that happened during the holiday season, the person purchased a pair of shoes for me, and just one shoe seemed to be defective. It might have been the display shoe where after just one wear, I could literally see from the pictures the shoe was starting to crack. And the other shoe was still perfectly fine, but the one shoe was just starting to peel. Almost seemed like if the leather was like chipping away. So instead of having them send me the return and having to pay for that return, which might have been $10, I just went ahead and I shipped them a new shoe from a different size, because I can clearly tell the shoe was defective. So by no means am I comparing myself to Amazon or eBay or any of these really, really huge corporations. I'm just a one-man show here. But I definitely understand when it comes down to, trying to provide good customer service, as well as, trying to just do right by the customer, but as well as trying to make good financial decisions. Because I would have really been losing money if I was to just go ahead and, deal with the ship in return and then still send the buyer a different shoe. I just figured I'll just take the L on that defective shoe, because I really couldn't do anything with that shoe anyway, and just ship them out a better shoe. So I've done stuff like that in the past to kind of offer good customer service. However, when it comes down to it, the first thing that I thought of is that, how are they going to decipher, how to actually deal with these type of returns? Because as you guys know, with the pandemic, online sales, e-commerce sales has increased, maybe 1,000%, maybe 12,000%. Who knows what it is, but I know e-commerce sales have skyrocketed. So they're going to be dealing with a ton of returns as a result. So apparently they're doing some form of algorithm. They're definitely going to be incorporating your and this is from me doing a little more research. After reading these articles, it seems like what they're going to be doing is using your account history. They're going to make sure you don't have a big history of, filing for returns and trying to, basically trying to swindle the system. They're going to make sure that, the item is, if it's super heavy and it costs them more money to actually pay for a return shipping label, more than likely they'll just tell you to keep it. And, if it's something very inexpensive and it'll cost them more money to have staff, reprocess the item and restock it, they'll probably go ahead and do that. And also within that article, they say, if it's an item that they don't plan on reprocessing, such as, makeup or open pack of batteries, stuff like that, where they're probably not going to put out on the sales floor, instead of them, going through the whole return process, they're just going to go ahead and just, tell you to keep it. So that makes perfect sense. However, first thing I thought of was, and I got these in my comment section. I got a lot of comments in my last video as well, where, this is opening the door to scammers. This is literally opening up the floodgates for people to try to figure out a way to, understand the algorithm that they're going to be using in order to figure out who's going to be able to keep these items, or who's going to be able to just, get these free things. They're basically going to try to figure out how to, maneuver the system. Now, there's another article that I found, because that's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, somebody had to get caught doing this, because as you guys know, if you give people an opportunity to swindle, they're going to take it. You know what I mean? So I found another article from a woman in Tampa that returned over 42,000 items to Amazon. And her story was really, really crazy. So I'll share that article with you guys here as well, because to me, that one was really interesting. So let's just pull that one up really quickly.
They're paying very close attention. Okay. And when it comes down to it,
So this was the article here. So I pulled this one up from the Tampa News, Channel 8 in Tampa. Shout out to everybody in Florida. You got some friends and family out there as well. So shout out to y'all. So it says the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office arrested. Hold on. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. I know I just muted this. I just muted this article. Okay. All right. Let me make sure somebody drop a 1 in the comment section. Make sure that you guys can hear me before I jump back into this, because I just had to mute that really, really quickly. Just drop a 1 in the comment section if you guys can hear me clearly. I think we should be good, but just drop a 1 in the comment section if you guys can hear me. Let's see. I think I should be good though. Okay, I'll jump right into it. So it says the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office arrested a woman accused of fraudulent return schemes involving dozens of Amazon accounts. They say going back from March 2015 until August of 2020, investigators said, don't know how to pronounce her name. Let's just call her Miss Tibma. 32 years old, operated a scheme in which she reused prepaid shipping labels generated for canceled orders and then applied them on other returns. Basically, what she was doing is claiming she was paying for shipping prices and she didn't do it. The tactic, the sheriff office says, would make it appear that she had paid for her own shipping costs on the returns when she actually did not. And they said Tibma completed 42,000 individual returns on the 31 different accounts. Those returns resulted in more than $100,000 reimbursed to Tibma's name. They say, according to the criminal report affidavit, those returns resulted in more than $165,000 reimbursed to Tibma's name. The court document states when Amazon received the packages, they would refund the defendant's account in the amount of $3.99 a package. Now, that is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I had to do the math because, of course, even when they said, over 165,000, just simply doing the math, I just put 4 times 42,000. That's 100. Let me stop sharing this article. That's $168,000 that she was able to get just off of simply finding a small flaw within the system and just capitalizing on it. So the video, as you guys seen the video article, the video popped up that was attached to that article. The video popped up, and within that article, they said that she lived in an apartment and she moved out of that apartment, but the neighbors would notice that, thousands of packages, if not, thousands of packages a week would show up to the doorstep, and it would be, packed up to the ceiling. And I believe her husband probably told one of the neighbors, they say, oh, my wife is still going to hold on to this apartment for her business. So this was literally her business. She was scamming. She was scamming for a living. So it's amazing what people can do, once they figure out a small flaw within the system. So I say all that to say, Amazon and Walmart and Target and some of these other big box retailers, it's one of those things where they're trying to just provide good customer service, right? They're trying to do right by customers, especially during this time where people, they don't necessarily want to go to the post office and wait in line. Some people who don't have vehicles, so they can't drive to even the mailbox and drop off a return. So they're trying to make things, easy for consumers, because at the end of the day, they're just trying to keep people on the platform so people can keep shopping, people can keep doing business there. They're thinking long term. But as you guys know, any chance people get, people are going to try to, abuse the system. So that's definitely something that I think with the new algorithms that they're going to try to do, because that article was dated back in October. So I'm pretty sure they've probably tweaked the system a little bit. They've probably put in a little more secure measures in order to prevent stuff like that. But you never know. There's people that's all they do. Their job is to try to outsmart these big corporations. And it's only a matter of time until more articles like this pop up where people are going to be, taking advantage of it. Someone says, still dumb, but she's pretty smart too. And that's the thing. It's one of those things where I always tell people, if you're smart enough to think of a legal scheme, you're definitely smart enough to figure out a way to make money legitimately. And I just wish more people, just had more integrity. You know what I mean? Just had more, simply just had more integrity. Because if she was running this business where she realized that she can make $3.99 a package and just order over 42,000 over 31 separate accounts, just imagine if she put that wisdom and that knowledge towards something legitimate. She could have been a millionaire. She made a 100,000 plus, but she could have made millions if she was to do it the legitimate way and just think a little smarter. But it is what it is. That's what's going to happen anytime, people get an opportunity to make a swindle. But that's it. That's the articles that I had found. I just wanted to kind of share my backstory with it because, like I told you guys, it definitely kind of corresponded with my previous 2 videos that I talked about, where I utilized that 50% deduction. And for me, it's been working well. I actually just got another return request this morning simply because the item didn't fit. And the first thing that came to mind, I was actually going to send a message to the buyer and said, hey, just want to make sure that the item was not worn and it's not damaged. But very rare do I get people that try to scam me. You know what I mean? Like, I'll make a video and discuss it when it does happen, but it out of the 3,000 packages I may have shipped last year, I probably got 6 or 7 situations where people try to, where they either wore the item and then try to make a return, or, literally try to scam me. It's not as prevalent and as, big as people may think when it comes to eBay and dealing with online businesses. So I say all that to say, even though there are people doing negative things online, and even though there are some scams and swindlers out there, for the most part, people are still honest. People still have integrity. I'll give you guys another really good example. As you guys know, I recently just moved. Someone just asked me, how's the painting going? I recently just moved and we're done painting. The studio's done. The rest of the house is all painted, so we're good to go. But like I said, I recently just moved, so I had to switch over my P.O. box to my new P.O. box. And within that time frame, I got returns shipped over to me. And I simply just told people, hey, I'm in the middle of moving. I can't send you the refund right away because, I didn't receive the item yet. And both situations, both people were very understanding. They were cool about it. And when I actually did open up the packages, they were just like, they were in the same exact condition. They weren't worn. They weren't damaged. They weren't missing anything. So there are people out there that they do have integrity when it comes to these types of stuff. So I'm not trying to, put a dark cloud over e-commerce at all, because at the end of the day, that's how we make money, right? We sell things online. So it's needed for there to be good, decent people out there. So I didn't want to try to cast a dark cloud over the whole situation and make it seem like everybody's out here trying to swindle. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Marathon up. Amen. Yes, it is. Marathon will continue. You already know. So if you guys got any questions, I'm gonna definitely stick around for a little while longer before I go out there and hit up some of these outlets. In my last video, I had said I'm in the Charlotte area. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina right now, just visiting some friends and family. So I'll be leaving out here tomorrow. So as of right now, probably later on today, I'll hit up the Concord Mills outlet. People were telling me to make sure that I hit up Uptown Cheapskate, which is like another thrift store, kind of like a Buffalo Exchange, Plato's Closet as well. I'm definitely going to be checking that out, and I'm going to make sure I try to get some footage for you guys, just so you guys can see what some of these thrift stores are looking like. Because the funny thing is, before I moved to Arizona, I did a video, thrifting in Arizona, trying to show people what it was like, and eventually I moved. I'm not going to say I'm going to move to Charlotte because I just got to Arizona, just bought my house. So I'm going to be in Arizona for a while. But excuse me, I just think it's still, really important to just kind of show people what's out there. You know what I mean? Because some people always say, based on their location, being a reseller is impossible. Going to Goodwill is too expensive, or they may not have a Ross, or their outlets are terrible. So for me, anytime I'm out of town, I kind of like to see what different areas have to offer and see if it's possible, in other places. Let's see. I find that scammers try to scam the cheaper items more than the more expensive items. They assume sellers are more apt to just refund the cheap stuff without asking. Yeah, I've definitely realized that as well. I think not only are scammers trying to scam the cheaper items, from my viewpoint, my perspective, I think what it is, anytime I sell cheap items, that buyer just has outrageous expectations. They think that, it's a $20 shirt and they're expecting that $20 shirt to be, fitting perfectly. They expect it to be ironed in the mail. They expect to get it within 2 days, even though I've shipped it out first class. You know what I mean? They have these outrageous expectations. And that's why I stopped dealing with a lot of used items, and I stopped dealing with clothes, because I realized that, especially if you're dealing with, less expensive items, those buyers are just, They just have unrealistic expectations. So they're going to complain. They're going to open up return requests. They're going to go through the item with a fine tooth comb looking for a flaw so that they can get some type of deal. And, shout out to them, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to say I'm the same way, but I'm always a person looking for a deal. You know what I mean? I always try to find a discount and search for a coupon code. So I'm not mad at that. I just also know that if I got a really good deal that may seem too good to be true, chances are it is too good to be true. So I'm one of those people as well. So I just think some people just need to kind of lower their, expectations when they are shopping online, especially if an item is used. And for me, not to say I don't sell used items anymore, because I absolutely do, but I just realized that I have to deal with way more. I have to deal with less customer service, experiences. I don't have to, constantly send emails out and respond to comments and messages and questions when I'm selling an item that's brand new. The only question might be, what is a measurement, or how fast can you ship this, those type of items. But very rare do I get a bunch of those type of questions anymore. Do you prefer used or new shoes selling on eBay? I was actually just talking about that. When it comes to shoes, I honestly, I sell either one, new or used. For me, either one. I think used shoes, I really like selling used shoes because the margins are usually much better. The margins, shout out to Derek, one of my bros in my mastermind. He sells used shoes. So he'll go to Goodwill, he'll find an item, for $6 or $10, and his ROI is crazy. He'll buy it for $5 and sell it for 100, or sell it for 90. So his ROI is really, really strong. So that kind of encouraged me and got me excited about, still thrifting and, searching for deals like that. For the majority of 2020, I did a lot of retail arbitrage. So during that time, I was mainly just buying a lot of used shoes. Sometimes, brand new with box, sometimes brand new without box. But that was my business model last year, because I just was experiencing the thrift stores were just too expensive for me to kind of capitalize on it. So I just invested more money in brand new. But I've realized by doing a full year of used in California and a full year of doing brand new in Arizona, I enjoy both. Either one works for me. I really don't have a preference. There's pros and cons to both. Of course, when it's brand new, you don't have to clean it. You can just put it up on the shelf, whether it's in a box or not in a box, put it in the bin, put it in a box, and just wait. With a used shoe, you got to clean it up. You got to make it more attractive. You got to, describe it a little better. You have to sometimes include a little more photographs so the buyer knows what they're getting. But at the same time, your margins would be better. So even though you got to do a little more work, you'll make a little more money. So either way has their pros and cons. Let's see. I started hitting up Goodwill in Carpinteria. It's a 20-minute drive, but worth it. Great men's items. Did you go there when you were in Cali? That's funny. I lived in Carpinteria. I had a house out there. That was where I told you guys all the time we were spending $23.50 a month. Very expensive. I don't know why we did that, but Carpinteria is beautiful. It's a really small beach town. We could literally see the beach from our home. So it was really nice out there, but it just wasn't worth it. I realized that I was spending so much money in rent, and once we moved to Arizona, that same money that I was putting towards rent, I stacked up that money, I saved it, and within that first year of living in Arizona, I was able to purchase my first home. So I tell people all the time, if you're a business owner, you always have to think about your expenses, even if you're quote unquote doing well or making six figures, but your expenses are super, super high. You can still live like somebody that's, making $30,000 a year. You won't necessarily feel like you're, taking home that much money. So that's why it was so important for me to, move to another city where I can another state rather, where I can actually benefit from the lower taxes, benefit from, the real estate market, the housing market. The average cost of a house in Santa Barbara and the Carpinteria area was $1.1 million. The average cost in Arizona, I might be making this up, but to me, I think it's just about maybe a little over 200,000. You know what I mean? And for a good area. So for me, it just made more sense to be in an area where I could actually afford a home, pay less taxes, and just do more with my money. Let's see. Good morning, cuz from Brooklyn. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I got the fam in Brooklyn. Shout out to y'all. Let's see. Have you been seeing the margins on sports cards these days? If you're in a low populated city that has Rite Aid / Walgreens, you can really come up. Yeah, I follow this one channel. What's the name? The name is well, they sold shoes, and they just opened up a sports card store on Melrose. I think it was if you guys remember the name of that store, drop it in the comment section. It's they do a lot of videos, and they usually have celebrities shop at their store. Cool Kicks is the name of the store. So I was just watching one of their videos where, you know, they have these sports cards, rookie Kevin Durant card selling for 60,000, you know, rookie LeBron James cards, you know, 40, 50,000. Zion Williamson, this is his second year in the NBA, and his rookie card is selling for like $30,000. It's insane right now. I remember going to thrift stores, and I would see a big bag of sports cards, and you know, you would get maybe 1,000 cards for $1. And I don't know if you can still do that, because nowadays people are buying some of these cards up like crazy, trying to take full advantage of it because the market is booming. But I don't know how long the trend is going to last, but I do know that everything is cyclical. Everything comes around, just like fashion. One year, you know, the the color, the trendy color is olive green, and then 6 years later, now the trendy color is olive green again. One year we're wearing slim fit, and then the next year we're wearing baggy. Then we're back to slim fit clothes. It's everything is always cyclical. So now is the time. If you know about sports cards, or if you're interested in learning about it, now is the time. You know, get on it before the wave is gone. It's just similar to Bitcoin. You know, I'm going to try to do my little due diligence and do my research to try to take advantage of it, because I remember when I was a kid, I had Pokemon cards, I had Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I don't have them anymore. You know what I mean? I'd have to try to see when I go back to Brooklyn and visit the family. I'd have to see if I can find any of those cards in my mom's house or something. But if I had, I know I didn't have like a first edition Charizard, but if I did, that's 100,000, 50,000, depending on the condition. It's insane nowadays. So, I mean, shout out to everybody out here making that money on these cards. Shout out to y'all taking these risks, because you know that's the thing is, if you spend say $100 on some cards, and it only takes one pack for it to change your whole life. So you never know. Yeah, man, it's wild. I've been grabbing retail sports packs and keeping them sealed. The numbers go up almost instantly. Absolutely. If you even I remember going to the dollar store and going to the Dollar Tree or like Dollar General, and you would see sports cards by the register, and they would be either $1. If it's in Dollar General, might be $3 or $4. And people wasn't necessarily buying them like that. But nowadays, well, so I thought people wasn't buying them. Clearly, people were buying them up because there's a demand for it now. So somebody was always buying them at one point or another. Actually, shout out to Patrick Bet David over there at Valuetainment. He just sold, this is maybe last month or 2 months ago, it was 2 hockey cards, and he sold them. I think one of them was Wayne Gretzky, of course, because, you know, he's the GOAT. But one of them, so I think both cards sold for like a little over $2 million. And that's insane. A sports card. Like you just imagine your net worth for you to want a sports card that badly that you're willing to spend $1 million plus on a card. Like that is amazing. It's inspiring, because I'm trying to get to that point where I could spend millions of dollars on stuff that I don't care about like that. I'm trying to get to that point. But yeah, continue to send these questions in. I'll stick around a little bit longer. Continue to send in the questions if you guys have any at all. And I'll stick around maybe, you know, a few more minutes, as long as the questions are good, as long as anybody needs some help with their resale business. And after that, I'm going to hit up some of these outlets. Also, if anybody's in the chat that's from the Charlotte area, if you guys got any other suggestions as to some thrift stores or some outlets that I should hit up, definitely drop that in the comment section. I know for sure I want to hit up Concord Mills. I know in Arizona we got Arizona Mills, and that's like where a lot of the factory stores are. So I'm hoping that it's similar there as well, and I could at least grab up a little something. Hopefully I can come back with, maybe I come back with some Vapor Max or something good so I could flip those. But lately for myself, I have not been making any purchases for myself. I'm still trying to, recover from this huge down payment that we had to put down. I'm actually going to work on that video really soon. Just trying to share the process a little more, break down some steps that I did in order to capitalize on, being able to get my first home, because I know a lot of people think that it's impossible. They think if you're an entrepreneur, the system is against you. And that's how I felt. I honestly felt the system was against me, and it was going to put up so many loopholes and barriers for me not to get the house. But at the end of the day, God is good, and I was able to capitalize on it, get that house. And I'm just going to bust my ass this whole year and be right back in the process next year again, try to get house number 2. And then Lord willing, if we could do it again by the end of this year, I'm going to be right back in there. So that's the game plan. Let's see. Did you apply for PPP and the EIDL grant? No, I didn't even apply for the grant yet. I'm definitely going to apply for the grant because that's, a grant you don't have to pay back. The PPP, I know they say some of it is forgivable depending on what you use it for, but I didn't apply for anything yet. It might be too late because I do know they were saying while I was doing some research on it, they were saying that they were opening up a window the top of this week, mainly for small businesses that weren't able to take advantage of it last time. So I'm still going to do some due diligence, because what I don't want is that I don't want to take out any more loans. You know what I mean? I already have a mortgage. I have student loans. I got some debt that I need to take care of, and I don't want to be taking out too much more. I don't want to take out too much more debt. I will want to be responsible with it. So I'm going to do some more research, make sure that everything is forgivable if I do apply for it. And if I do, I'm going to make a video, because if it helps me, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to help other people as well. But that grant, I'm going to definitely try to take advantage of that. Is it true I can build business with credit with no PG? I'm guessing PG is personal guarantor. But yes, you can definitely build business credit with no personal guarantor. But if you're trying to build business credit, your very first attempt, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody else in the chat, but the way how I did it, how I started my business credit is that I was my own personal guarantor. So they used my credit history in order to determine how much I was going to get for my very first business credit card, my first business credit line. They used my personal credit history. So I was able to, build that business credit and do it that way. But there are certain credit card companies out there that will allow you to build business credit with no personal guarantor. If you have an EIN number, which anyone can get from, irs.gov, anybody can apply for that and get that within the same day. There are some credit card companies out there that would just give you business credit. They might give you a $5,000 credit line and, see what you can do with that. But it's definitely out there. I'm not exactly 100% sure which credit card companies don't need a personal guarantor. I know Capital One, they do. You need a guarantor, and they will report to the credit bureau. So if you're trying to do something outside of using a personal guarantor, don't use Capital One. They're not the ones for you. But that's what I did. Let's see. Brother, keep your goal to have a net worth of $500,000 by 7 years. Absolutely. In 7 years, I feel like I can have a larger net worth than that. Absolutely think that. I'm a firm believer in that. But the goal is really generational wealth. I don't care how long it takes. I'm not even going to say 7 years or 5 years. That's why I love business so much, because I can continue doing this in my 80s. Not necessarily reselling. I'm gonna probably be on something else by then, but by the time I'm 85 years old, I could still be out here, working, still doing what I got to do. So my goal is really generational wealth. I want my name and my family legacy name to be, just good in these streets. You know what I mean? I want my name on a building, name on a highway, something. Got to do something big. I ain't here for a season. I'm here for a reason. Okay. Let's see. How is eBay managed payments going? I'm still using PayPal. Managed payments is going really, really well. It's a smooth system, at least for me. I know some other people have had some difficulties, especially in the beginning, but eBay managed payments have been going really smoothly for me. The downside to it, what I don't like, is that if a buyer opens up a return for whatever reason, they put your money on hold. So if you had PayPal prior to, and a buyer opened up a return, those funds are still active. You can still access those funds, and you don't have to send a return until you actually receive the item. And as you guys know, with a lot of times with the buyer, if they open a return request and they realize they have to pay for return shipping, they may never do it. They may say, you know what, forget it. It's cheaper for me to just go ahead and keep it, or me going to the post office isn't worth my time. I've heard people say that going to the post office isn't worth their time, and they will just let the return close. So I've actually benefited from that before in the past. But with eBay managed payments, if a buyer opens up a return request, eBay puts the funds on hold immediately. So that's the one thing I don't like about it. But outside of that, it's been really smooth, and I have no other complaints. Congrats on the house. That's dope. Thank you very much. It was a long journey. It was a tough road. Our closing got pushed back twice, and we were supposed to close on November 24th. We didn't close until December 18th. Well, not even the 18th. We closed on the 18th. We didn't get the keys until like December 21st or something like that. But God is good. We got the house, and just going to continue to renovate it and work on getting house number 2. Is that because you have an LLC? I'm guessing you're talking about business credit. You don't necessarily need an LLC for business credit. What you need is a EIN number. You definitely need an EIN just to show that you actually own a business. So, Ebony, if you're talking about business credit, drop that in the comment section. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. But having the LLC and having an EIN they go hand in hand, but you can have one without the other. You can have an EIN without having an LLC, but if you have an LLC, you will have an EIN because it comes with it. And an EIN, for those that don't know, is just an employment identification number. So it just shows that you're a registered business within your state. But that's basically it. So like I said, if we got any other questions, drop those in the comment section. I'm gonna probably head out here maybe around 12 o'clock, try to hit up some of these thrifts. Somebody had dropped a comment, said I was in the hood. And I felt like I was in the hood. When I went to a couple of these thrift stores, I went to Bargain Hunters and I went to a Goodwill. I felt like I was in the hood. I was like, man, Charlotte is kind of rough. I don't know. But at the same time, it's like, I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. So when I think of hoods, I think of projects. I think of, abandoned houses. But, Charlotte, I didn't see too many of those. It just looked, a little rougher. But it is what it is. Let's see. Correct. Did you have it when applying? Yes. So when I applied for my business credit with Capital One, I had an EIN. And at that point, I had I still have an S Corp. And I started an S Corp mainly because I can, pay myself, put myself on payroll and pay myself every month. So that's why I did it. But at that point in time, I actually did have that EIN number, and you need it. You need to have it because they need to know that you are a registered business. As a sole proprietor, I believe you can still be a sole proprietor and get an EIN and still be able to get a business line of credit, depending on which bank you use or depending on which credit card company you go with. Everybody kind of has, different standards and different things. And sometimes different states have different requirements as well. But the EIN is free. You can go to irs.gov, apply for an EIN, and go to your local bank. If you bank with Bank of America, or even if you have a credit union, go to the bank and just ask questions. I was telling one of my friends this the other day, the best way to do it, either go in person or call on the phone and ask them, say, hey, I want a business line of credit. What do I need? What do I need to do? And they'll tell you whichever steps that you need. And then I would call a different bank or a different, credit union and I would call them and I would ask them, hey, what do I need? What do I need to do? And I would basically just kind of use them as cross references, make sure that, you know, if one is making it a much easier process for me than the other, I would go with them and continue to build your credit that way. But one thing that what you definitely should do is make sure that if you can have it separate, if you can set it up in a way where you're not giving them your social security number, so they're not using you as a personal guarantor, I would suggest trying to do it that way instead of, you know, having your business line of credit attached to your credit history, to your account history, because basically it'll just behoove you to do it that way. Keep it completely separate. You know what I mean? Run up your business line of credit, do what you need to do on that aspect, and keep your personal stuff out of it. You know what I mean? So basically when you're making these calls, just ask them that, hey, what do I need to do in order to keep my business credit, and what do I need to do in order to keep my personal credit? I'm one of those people that I tell people all the time, I'm not like a financial guru or an expert or anything. I just call and I ask questions, and then I'll call someone else and I ask them more questions. And then I might call friends and family and I'll ask them on their experience, and then I'll make a decision. You know what I mean? But I just like to go into any situation well-informed before I actually pull the trigger on anything. So that's a thing. I think that's about it. That's all I got for you guys today. Been on here for about 45 minutes. I usually do these live shows every Thursday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So I'll probably go back to doing that again next week. And I'm also thinking about introducing news articles or just anything relevant, you know, to entrepreneurship, or just, you know, the reselling industry more so, just trying to, you know, shed light on it. So if I come across an article, I might hop on live and do something like this again, just so that we can kind of share the knowledge and keep it going that way. So drop a comment if you think you guys would be interested in that. I'll probably do, you know, maybe 2 live streams a week. That way I can kind of interact with you guys a little more often. You know, for those that can't catch me in the evening, I'll probably do it sometime in the morning as well, just to, you know, be more accessible. So we got one more question before I head out of here. Can you apply for a business license online? Yes, absolutely. Most business licenses is with your state. So for me, I just went to like I think it was az.gov or something like that. But just make sure every state is a little different. But I know business licenses are usually granted through your state. So all you want to do is just run a quick Google check and see what you need, what you need for your state in order to get that business license. I'm sure you're probably talking about either the business license or, you know, the reseller permit, so you won't have to pay taxes, like that tax exempt form. A lot of them are all on the same website. So depending on which state you're in, it should be really simple, really easy. And they made it a lot simpler now, especially with, you know, with the virus and everything. And a lot of these government buildings being closed, they made everything super easy, super accessible online. So definitely want to take full advantage of that, because it's the top of the year. Now is the time to, you know, get all your licenses, whatever you got to renew, make sure you renew them and get them done. And, you know, just be successful. That's it. Do what you got to do. Get to the money. All right, y'all. That's all I got for today's video. So I'm going to see you guys